Hello there everybody and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga DLC showcase video. I'm going to give you all of my thoughts on all of the characters in depth and tell you if I think the DLC is worth it or not. Today we're reviewing the Andor DLC, which I find interesting that they decide to drop this DLC after the series finale instead of at the beginning of the season when the hype first picked up, but whatever. We'll go into depth on every character, but before we do that, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Star Wars videos just like this. And let's get right into this DLC. The characters in this DLC are Andor, Luthen Rael, Siren Karn, Dedra Meero, and Bix Caleen. My favorite character in this pack is Bix, and my least favorite is probably Andor himself. Cassian doesn't have anything that makes him remotely interesting to use, and even his appearance is a bit bland, even though the minifigure is great. Let's start with Andor since I kind of already got most of my thoughts about this character out of the way. I think he's just not interesting to use. I don't know, he's bland and has nothing really unique about him, even though I do like the actual LEGO minifigure, funnily enough. I know it doesn't sound like I do, it's just in a game, it's kind of boring, even though the minifigure is great. He's just the least interesting character in this pack, even though he's not bad. There's nothing bad about him, he's just the least interesting. In contrast, Bix Caleen is my favorite from this pack. The devs had to make a whole new minifigure for this character, and it looks pretty good, especially the jacket with the dual molded legs and cool arm printing. She's a scavenger character, so she has some interesting abilities, and with all of the upgrades equipped, she can be a beast to use. She definitely is going to be a scavenger character I use often. To go with Andor, you have Stellan Skarsgård as Luthen Rael. Luthen is a very cool character they introduced in the show, and I think I speak for everyone when I say I wished LEGO made a set of his ship, and I would love to have seen his ship playable in this game. Could you imagine taking down a dreadnought with those lasers? That would be so cool. Anyways, the actual character itself isn't very interesting in terms of its abilities, but it does have some interesting idle animations that seem a little bit too cheerful for Luthen in my opinion. Plus, why is he smiling like that? But next up we've got Siren Karn. This villain character's blue outfit is extremely sharp. I personally think that this is the best looking character in the pack and definitely one of the best looking DLC characters I think I've reviewed so far in my opinion. It's just pretty accurate to what we see in the show and obviously the LEGO minifigure, so I can't complain about it at all. The idle animation is very fitting for his character. It's just kind of bland with the abilities, as many of these DLC characters are just copies and basic outlines for each class that they're in. He's just a basic villain character, but he looks really cool. Finally, we have Dedra Meero, the ISB officer. She really is just a carbon copy Imperial with a new headpiece, so there really isn't anything notable about her. I think we kind of already knew how she was going to play like before we even got our hands on her. Her idle animation, just like Cyril, fits the character perfectly. Overall, I would honestly give this pack like a 5 out of 10. It's very middle of the road. It's not bad, but not great either. I really loved Andor and I love this game so much, but you gotta admit the characters in this pack are just not super interesting. The characters in the pack themselves in the show are great, of course, so if you love the show, you gotta get the pack. Just as minifigures, they're just not super interesting. My ranking of the characters in this pack is first Bix because of her abilities and the new design, second Cyril, then Luthen, followed by Dedra, and then Andor last. I would recommend getting this pack if you enjoyed Andor, but if you did not, however, then this might be a place to skip out and save a bit of cash for the holidays. But if you're trying to decide if it's worth it to get the whole character collection 2 bundle, then it is definitely worth the pickup. No matter what DLC I review, that deal will always be worth it and cheaper than buying all of the DLC separately. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more videos just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.